So, lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor, but White says she hasn't spoken with the trainer.
The superstar, who single-handedly brought women's basketball back to life in Indiana, just sent the loudest message in WNBA history without uttering a single word. Caitlin Clark, the undeniable face of the league, the generational talent packing arenas like a global pop star, has reportedly cut off all direct communication with the Indiana Fever's medical staff. This bombshell revelation comes in the wake of her latest debilitating groin injury, a development that signals a deep, systemic breakdown within the franchise. But this isn't just about an injury, it's about a superstar losing faith in the very organization meant to protect her.
Pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
And frankly, it's about time someone within the Fever organization was held accountable for treating their generational talent like a mere role player in someone else's story. Here's what's really happening behind the closed doors of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, information the mainstream media won't touch, and why Caitlin Clark isn't just frustrated, but might already be plotting her strategic exit from Indiana far sooner than anyone ever anticipated. The truth is far more damning than you imagine.
She has met with a different doctor. And she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, you know, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, oh, she's gone to a different doctor and they've heard nothing.
When Caitlin Clark limped off the court on July 15th against the Connecticut Sun, visibly clutching her right groin in excruciating frustration, it wasn't just another injury. This was the definitive breaking point. Sources reveal this isn't just a physical setback, but the culmination of a quiet, brewing storm, what insiders are calling a WNBA version of the Kawhi Leonard situation, where an unparalleled superstar completely loses all faith in her team's medical and training staff. What does that mean for her future?
News: Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available.
Clark has now shockingly suffered 4 separate muscle injuries this season: a left groin strain, a left quadriceps injury, and now a re-aggravation of that right groin. For a player who notoriously never missed a single game due to injury in her entire storied college career at Iowa, nor her initial WNBA rookie season, this parade of ailments isn't just an unlucky streak. This isn't misfortune. It's a pattern that screams outright medical mismanagement and a glaring failure to protect their most valuable asset.
The internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which, if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed, and then she returned to play.
The ultimate breaking point wasn't just the re-injury itself, but the disturbing fact that Clark was rushed back from her previous groin injury, only to suffer a painful re-aggravation within mere games of her return. Sources close to the situation, those who truly know what's happening, report that Clark delivered an unequivocal message to team officials: "I'm getting my own doctors. "I am not using our doctors." She has since met with multiple outside physicians and flat out refuses to give updates to the Fever's training staff. This is an unprecedented act of defiance.
Caitlin Clark's team has made it known we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at all. After taking Indiana Fever's advice, eventually Caitlin Clark needs to take matters into her own hands, make decisions for herself, and I believe that's what we are seeing with the team that she now has surrounding her.
Let's expose the cold, hard facts the Indiana Fever desperately hope you won't see. Clark's injury timeline reads like a medical disaster unfolding in plain sight. Sidelined May 3rd, missed the May 26th game, 5 games missed in June due to a left groin, then the crippling right groin injury on July 15th. On July 24th, the Fever offered a cryptic, no timetable for return. That's 11 regular season games plus the Commissioner's Cup final gone, nearly half the WNBA season. This isn't just bad luck, it's recurring soft tissue injuries that should be preventable with proper conditioning and world-class medical care.
The people are speculating that Caitlin Clark injury could be much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal to have these strains back to back to back like this. And I said this before, Caitlin Clark mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May. Then she came back and got re-injured around the 4th of July to the 5th, somewhere up in there of July. And then that brings us until now.
But here's where the truth becomes undeniably damning. Clark took matters into her own hands, seeking crucial second opinions from specialists in New York, deliberately without informing the Fever's medical staff about the findings. Even coach Stephanie White shockingly admitted she hadn't even talked to the team trainers about what Clark's independent doctors discovered. When your franchise player is essentially going rogue on critical medical decisions, this isn't just about a physical injury. It's about a complete, irreversible shattering of trust, and it exposes a deeper rot within the organization.
The only good news about today is Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks.
And let me be clear, I stand unequivocally with Caitlin Clark. Here's the dirty truth that no one in the Fever organization wants to admit. Former coach Christy Sides knew precisely how to unleash Caitlin Clark. Say what you will about Sides' other coaching flaws, but she grasped one fundamental principle. When you possess a generational talent, you don't force them into your system. You build your entire system around them. Sides let Clark be Clark, gave her the ball, dictated the pace, and watched the magic happen. The results? Clark shattered WNBA records, clinched a playoff berth, and sold out every arena. Coach White's recent comments about wanting Clark to play off-ball show she fundamentally misunderstands true greatness. You don't take the ball out of Michael Jordan's hands.
The problem of this team is Stephanie White. It's Stephanie White. It's not Caitlin Clark. A great player don't all suddenly sucks. That doesn't happen. It's strategic. And everybody saying that they played better without Caitlin Clark. No. Actually, even this loss, Caitlin Clark gives them a better chance. They're under 500 without Caitlin Clark.
Perhaps the most damning evidence of Clark's utter frustration came after the Fever's crushing loss to the New York Liberty on July 22nd. Photos immediately surfaced of Clark, alongside her agent, engaged in what appeared to be a deeply private meeting with Liberty coach Sandy Brondello, and stars Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu in the tunnel at Barclays Center. This was no casual post-game chat. When your agent is present for a discussion with another team's coaching staff and star players, that is, unequivocally, a business meeting about your future. The optics were crystal clear. While the Fever continued to mismanage their superstar, the Liberty were already making their pitch for when Clark inevitably becomes available. This is a 5-alarm fire.
But this is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. when you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded, a player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
Multiple sources now confirm that Clark has essentially fired the Fever's medical team, opting for her own trusted specialists. She's visiting top physicians in New York and stubbornly refusing to share results with the team's trainers. This level of medical rebellion is truly unprecedented in women's basketball, mirroring exactly the bitter departure of Kawhi Leonard from San Antonio. Leading medical professionals have openly pointed out that Clark's disturbing pattern of recurring groin and quad injuries doesn't scream bad luck. It screams either severely poor conditioning protocols or dangerously inadequate rehabilitation. The fact that she keeps suffering the same types of injuries indicates the root cause has never been properly addressed.
Why Caitlin Clark was injured is a real thing. It's not just because she's a good player and people go hard against her. In my opinion, there's some other stuff going on there. A lot of pressure to put people in seats, to put eyeballs on the game. You come back a little early. Teams, as they should, play hard against her. Some teams go over the line and refs seem to look the other way. In my opinion, you had some of that going on with some other talent in the league as well last year. But this is different. And Stephanie White needs some blame as well. The team seems a little rudderless.
Here's the deeply uncomfortable truth that Fever fans absolutely do not want to hear. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe Indiana anything. She has already given them sold-out crowds, record-shattering national television ratings, a playoff appearance for the first time in years, and millions upon millions in pure revenue. What has the organization given her in return? A relentless parade of debilitating injuries, glaring coaching instability, and a medical staff she unequivocally cannot trust. The Fever have proven they possess zero clue how to effectively build around a generational superstar. They hired a coach who seems determined to limit Clark's undeniable impact rather than maximize her transcendent talent. Clark should be the system, not merely a piece within it.
Remember Peyton Manning when he called his own plays? He said, Tony Dungy, you run the defense, I run the offense. That's what exactly needs to happen in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark is literally Peyton Manning. She should be calling the plays. She should run the offense. And Stephanie White called the defense.
The most frustrating and truly infuriating part of this entire debacle is that Caitlin Clark is in her absolute prime right now. She's only 23 years old, at peak athleticism, and has already undeniably proven she can dominate at the professional level. These should be the golden years where Indiana is meticulously building a championship contender around her, not desperately trying to figure out basic medical care and a coherent coaching philosophy. Every single game Clark misses is another step, another game, closer to her inevitable and well-deserved departure. That's why organizations like the New York Liberty are already strategically positioning themselves for when Clark becomes available. They have championship-caliber players, genuinely competent coaching, and an organization that truly knows how to maximize star talent.
There is a WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, like, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie contract.
Because Clark's outright refusal to communicate with the Fever's medical staff isn't just about this latest agonizing injury. It's about a deeply ingrained pattern of disrespect that shamefully began with rushing her back from previous injuries and shamefully continues with a coaching staff that simply doesn't understand how to use her properly. When a player of Clark's unparalleled caliber stops trusting her organization's most basic functions, keeping her healthy and putting her in a position to succeed, that's not a temporary disagreement. That's a fundamentally broken relationship. The Fever are so focused on their archaic systems and protocols that they've tragically forgotten the most important, ironclad rule in professional sports. When you have a once-in-a-generation talent, you do everything possible to keep them happy and healthy.
Quote, this is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just continue to do that, Clark said in an event during All-Star Weekend per Glamour. being a professional athlete, you really have to take care of both your body and your mind. It's been a journey learning about that.
Caitlin Clark's body language, far more than any public statement, tells the real, harrowing story. She was visibly emotional after her latest injury, covering her head with a towel, showing clear and undeniable frustration. Seeking independent medical opinions without team staff, holding private meetings with other organizations, these are simply not the actions of a player committed long-term to her current situation. As Coach White stubbornly talks about Clark playing off the ball in her system and the medical staff continues to lose their superstar's trust, the writing is on the wall. Indiana's choice is stark. Build around Caitlin Clark the right way, or watch her take her transcendent talent somewhere that will. They are pushing away the best thing that's ever happened to their franchise. The clock is ticking, and Caitlin Clark's patience has officially run out.